Peace, Chiefs and Deers. It's Bronzebird here with another video. Before I begin, like and subscribe. So I'm going to keep it short, sweet, and basic. All this talk about, specifically shedding light to New York City, about how many people is complaining about New York City. So many times I've heard on the subway, so many people is like, oh, I can't stand New York City. I want to move out. I want to be able to get out of here, and I want to move to a different country or a different state. So the other day I had just found out that 300,000 New Yorkers left New York, right? And slowly on the decline. For the last, I believe, 15 to 20 years, New Yorkers have been just flying out of New York, and New York's mentality and morality has been dropping like flies. So I just decided to make a fun little video about it, just to give a perspective and what is it that I think. This video contains one of these type of things where a mentally ill person decides to grab a woman by her hair on a New York City subway train. And my opinions on that is I'm used to dealing with insane people or crazy people, even people who come out of a mental hospital, hop up on a subway and do all these rambunctious things while the subway is in motion. So it doesn't surprise me seeing a video like this, but I wanted to give my perspective nonetheless. And plus, I find it very ironic that for some odd reason, when you go to different sites, or I guess you watch different YouTube videos, they have these people who broadcast these type of stories all the way from Australia, the UK, and all these different things. I ask myself, why are they so interested in the US news? Just something I like to think about. Because even in Australia, the network I'm about to show you, they was so on track talking about Trump when he was running for president and being so focused on Joe Biden now. Isn't that crazy? Just something I like to think about, but Pete.
Here's a sign of societal decay, another sign that our civilization is in serious decline. Have a look at this footage from the subway in New York City where a man in the white jacket and black leggings is rampaging on a train. Looks like there are plenty of able-bodied men around watching. He targets a woman.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. He sat there and grabbed her by the hair and stuff like that. I've seen crazy stuff, but, just randomly attacking a person, I've known mental patients that have gotten out of control and tried to intimidate fellow passengers on a train, but, I'm not really used to seeing something like this on a subway train where a mentally ill man decides to grab a woman by her hair and make her sit down and she's screaming out for help. But in the next few seconds, to me, this is not surprising, the reaction, but to others, yeah, surprising.
Woman sits next to her and begins to assault her. What do you think happened next? Did the men on the train step in and protect this woman from a violent thug? Did someone bother yelling at him to stop, to show there was more of them than him? Well, no. The cowards watched as the terrified woman begged for help.
To the average New Yorker, you would say to her, "Are you surprised?" And I know it's really bad to say that, but like, are you surprised? Are you really surprised? We see this every day. Sometimes every day, sometimes, But more than likely, yes, us as New Yorkers, it's one of those sort of things where, there is people who do play the Good Samaritan role. And that's a video I did where they will jump in and actually say something to this man that's grabbing a woman by the hair. But, to me, in this instance, I am actually surprised that no one wanted to step in. Even that man that's right there with the black mask, as you can see behind the man with the jacket, the jean jacket, is literally looking at all of this taking place and not doing a damn thing. And then the woman that's on the phone right there is not doing anything either. Remotely, I would think that they would warn the conductor about what's going on, but nope. What makes it even more suffering is the guy that's recording the video, because sat there did something too. It's a shame, man.
heard her say, "Somebody, please help me." But nobody stepped in. Nobody was interested beyond filming the ordeal. Now, thankfully, that woman was okay and the assault did not end in her being grievously injured. The maniac went on to kick windows and terrify more passengers. But what does it say about society that not a single man stepped in to help? That
My thing about it is I tell the people all the time, if you're going to ride the subway of New York City, you better have a blade, you better have a taser, you better have something on you to go ahead and warn yourself off from these crazy individuals that ride the train. I've always said that. You got to protect yourself at all costs. Am I saying the New York City subway is all dangerous? No, it's not all dangerous as much as people believe. And obviously, New York has always had the reputation for being the most violent city or being one of the most violent cities in America. But obviously, New York has always survived and be able to move every single day. It's just that New Yorkers can't control that there are mentally ill patients that ride the train just like they do.
allowed it to happen. Where are all the good Samaritans gone? Where have all the men gone? Perhaps folks on the subway are too distracted with all the signage on the trains to worry about an innocent woman being terrorized.
No, that's an alibi. People just will watch and not do shit. That's a total alibi. That's a fallacy. Coming from someone who knows. They will literally look at a situation, not know what to do, or start whispering or try to say something. Because I'm not going to sit here and let it be known like New Yorkers don't do shit. They will. But they won't understand the situation. Sometimes they'll just see it and they'll be like, I don't want to get involved in that because it seems like it's a personal problem. It's just that people naturally will mind their own business. That's the only thing that usually happens.
Here's an example of what I'm talking about. What you see here is a sign on a New York City train telling addicts not to be ashamed about their drug habit, but to be empowered by it. Opiate addiction is apparently empowering now. Meanwhile, the governor is focused.
Well, that's because you live in a liberal city. So America is actually working backwards. They're actually allowing for a lot of this stuff to take place. They're like overdose. Well, mainly that ad was put in place to get treatment. That's the thing that they don't understand, or this woman from Australia who's doing the broadcast doesn't understand. They want them to get treatment. Are they influencing them to be on drugs? No, not really. They're trying to get them to, really look at their actions accordingly. Still, I disagree with it, and she's still right in some type of way, but no, it's not all of what appears.
Focusing on the really important stuff like genderless driver's licenses. Yesterday, New York governor posted this saying, New Yorkers, you can now choose X as a gender marker on your driver's license.
And I have a familiarity, I probably talked about this before on my YouTube channel, that they've passed a law with Massachusetts and New York where you're able to define yourself as gender X or the third gender. And especially when giving birth, the mother can make the choice of having a child be born as a boy, girl, or a non-binary, or in this case, an unknown gender, where they shouldn't be defined by their gender or their gender markers, such as their genitalia. So it's not surprising to me that this is going to go on. Governor Kathy Hochul is going to play the game, just like Eric Adams is going to play the game, with upheating to the stuff that is at the greater goods of this society, or the greater evils of this society, because New York is a very liberal state. So I'm not very surprised that this woman is going to go ahead and do that. Of course, that more of the stuff that's going to go on, especially this is in time for June, which is supposed to be Pride Month, you're going to see more of these laws and more of these statutes take place. It's exactly what's going to happen in society, so don't act surprised.
Every person deserves to have an identity document that reflects who they are. I'm not quite sure who X reflects, who identifies as X, but it's easier to make incoherent pronouncements than tackle a substantive issue like soaring crime on the subway and in the city in general, where the crime rate is up 60%, according to government data released in March. Murders are up, rape cases have surged, as have robberies. And the crime wave didn't just start this year. The surge began in 2020. And yet the governor and...
Yes, that's true. Mayor de Blasio was doing what he was doing, focused on trying to become president. Mayor Andrew Cuomo was so caught up in so many scandalous affairs. So, of course, there was a lot of things that was going on. But to be honest with you, New York has been going down to shit for years. So, people reporting on societal decay of New York City. New York City, and I hate to say this, but this is true. New York City is made to be destroyed. Those that might think that New York City is a great place to go to and da 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 this, that, and third, New York City is made to be destroyed. It will be destroyed. There is going to be something that happens where New York is not going to be New York anymore. So those need to take heed to what's going on. Yes, there's many videos on YouTube that warns people to get out of New York City as quickly as possible. So make your choice, make your decision.
Mayor would rather grandstand about far left talking points than tackling crime.
All right, man. Peace.